salicylic acid, or aspirin, for relief of their symptoms. In fact, aspirin has been used by humans for more than 2,500 years, ever since some person realized that chewing willow leaves seemed to treat their discomfort. This is because willow leaves contain salicin, which is turned into salicylic acid in the body. Chemists such as Charles Frederick Gerhardt and Felix Hoffmann later experimented with salicylic acid to find ways of making it last longer and become less toxic in the body, which led to the creation of aspirin.
We will discuss the mechanism of action of aspirin and its toxicity. Aspirin is a non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drug derived from salicylic acid. It is an aromatic compound with a carboxylic acid and ester functional group. In the human body, aspirin is distributed widely throughout the body and hydrolyzed to salicylic acid. It helps by reducing the pain that is felt. Pain is an unpleasant feeling conveyed to the brain by sensory neurons. This signal is amplified by prostaglandins, which produces an enzyme called cyclooxygenase, COX.
British pharmacologist John Vane discovered that a family of fat-derived molecules known as prostaglandins seem to be responsible for causing fever, inflammation, and pain, and that aspirin treated these symptoms by preventing production of prostaglandins. Prostaglandins are derived from fatty acids in the cell membrane. These fatty acids are cut off of membrane lipids by an enzyme known as phospholipase A2. Afterwards, an enzyme called cyclooxygenase, as its name implies, creates a ring in the fatty acid and adds some oxygens to form an intermediate prostaglandin, which is further modified into a variety of different prostaglandins with an incredible diversity of functions. These functions include acting on the hypothalamus to increase body temperature, stimulating immune cells in inflammation, and sensitizing nerves to pain, as well as initiating clotting in blood, constricting and dilating blood vessels, producing mucus in the stomach to protect the stomach lining from stomach acid, and so many more. What aspirin does is that it stops cyclooxygenase from working, which blocks prostaglandin synthesis and results in temporary reduction of prostaglandin-induced pain, fever, and inflammation, until cyclooxygenase activity returns to normal. This inflammation doesn't have to just come from infections. Inflammation from some autoimmune diseases, such as rheumatic arthritis, can also be relieved using aspirin. There are two major forms of cyclooxygenase, COX, in cells. COX1 is always made in the cell, while COX2 is only made during inflammation. Aspirin permanently inhibits COX1 by acetylation of its active site. Therefore, aspirin's effect lasts however long it takes for the cell to transcribe and translate new COX1 enzymes, which usually takes a few hours. In a nutshell, aspirin works by acting at the site of damaged tissue. It intercepts the start of the nerve signal to the brain by blocking the production of prostaglandins. Therefore, taking aspirin blocks the prostaglandins and this relieves pain. Side effects of aspirin includes its toxicity. In fact, aspirin is extremely toxic to cats as they are unable to break down aspirin and to a lesser extent to dogs. Despite this, aspirin can still be used, just at low doses, to treat inflammation in animals. As for humans, we can overdose on aspirin at lethal doses. Aspirin interferes with the energy production in the mitochondria, which leads to eventual death. Before death, unique symptoms such as ringing in the ears, hyperventilation, and dizziness, as well as non-specific symptoms such as vomiting and nausea appear. Overdoses are often due to chronic aspirin use, so if any of these symptoms apply to you, it is recommended to speak to a doctor immediately. Aspirin's effect is increased by ingesting it with caffeine because caffeine is a stimulant, which increases blood flow to carry aspirin around the body faster and begin acting on tissue quicker. Therefore, it is always advised to stick to the prescribed dosage of drugs.
Created using Powtoon.